When you host the chamber breakfast, you get to address the folks a little bit for what you all do, and it's the opportunity that we have this is the end of our year, and we call it the end of our year because it's our opportunity to say thank you for your support in 2022. It's amazing. Let me just tell you some of the whys we do what we do. Virgie Boland, 84-year-old senior adult, lived between Hawkins and Hancock County. She lived in a little tar paper home. This was just a few years ago. We found Virgie living without bathroom in her house. She had never had running water in her house. Her ceiling was pieces of cardboard that were actually just nailed up, giving her a cardboard ceiling for a living room. A very bad place to live. We have another lady, her name was Susie. Susie has 3 small children. We found her having walked with a little red wagon 4.5 miles to go into our food pantry in Sneedville to get food for her family. She said if it weren't for you people, and I want to point that out, you people, if it weren't for you, my family wouldn't have food today. My son was with me. Since she walked to town, we decided to take her back home. And truly, as we went into a little mobile home that was uninsulated, the door was standing open in the hot of July. She had nothing to steal, I promise. There was not a can of green beans or corn in her cupboard. There wasn't a gallon of milk. There wasn't a box of cereal for her 3 children. What she got from that food pantry was literally all she had. Needless to say, we were able to help her more than that. Elizabeth, the third example, she needed some home repairs. So about this time of year, we decided to go out and we were evaluating the home to estimate what it was going to take to do the home repair. This lady, as I walked in though, she didn't have heat in her house. And I said, "You don't have heat. Is your heat broke?" And she said, "No, we don't heat." "What, you don't heat?" And she said, "No, I live in this uninsulated mobile home. I get $600 a month, and it takes $400 to heat my home for a month." They would cut my electric off, and then my refrigerator and stove wouldn't work. My lights wouldn't work, so we just learned to bundle up. So friends, each of these folks represent people whose lives have been changed because you support an organization that has allowed us to help them. We help people one by one, and at the end of the year, it seems to add up. But we couldn't do it without you. There's just a few staff, and I'm going to introduce those in just a minute, the folks that make it all possible. But we couldn't do the work that we could by ourselves. It takes a community. It's a community effort to make it happen. So this is a very special year this year. We're celebrating our 35th anniversary in doing this work with your partnership here in Hawkins County. Could I get our board members to stand up? Okay, 3 that are here today. Frank Prophet, you know he's our board chairman. Cynthia Jackson Givens and Carolyn Bird are 3 that represent us, 3 of the about 8 or 9 that represent you on the board for the decisions that are made in running the organization. And then in back, we have some folks, they're standing along the back. They're there to make things happen, and they're the ones that you see every day as you come in. We have 20 in this facility and the one across the street, 20 more in the other ministry centers that are operated, and you put them all together, and it amazes us to see what God has done in the last 35 years. Nobody here claims credit for anything that goes on. Nobody claims the leadership. Ultimately, somebody comes in and says, "I want to see the executive director. He's up there. I want to talk to the boss. Let's get on our knees and we'll talk to him together." That's how we view ourselves. We're just a team that works together for him. And through your partnerships, a lot has been done. Let me share with you where some of the work is. We are a food ministry. That's primarily what we do. There's been 34,000 people helped last year just with food alone through the food pantries, the 3 food pantries. And then when you add the Meals on Wheels that are done here, The lunchbox program, which are done here, some of the food distributions like Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's another 20,000 people that are participating in that. That's over half the ones we serve. So last year, as you're receiving these reports, the bottom line was that, again, through your support, we were able to serve 95,000 people with just a tad under $5 million worth of goods and services. We're seeing 108 come to Christ, and in our 35 years, that's 3,100 people have come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, again, through community efforts. Of One Accord reaches out from 3 communities. In Church Hill, there's a medical clinic, diaper pantry, and a food pantry. In Rogersville, we have several programs that operate out of this facility. We have the food pantry downstairs, summer feeding program, the Meals on Wheels program across the street. We do the countywide Christmas program across the street. We will, at some point, be hosting mission teams. We host about 20 mission teams that come every year from all over the eastern United States to come to Appalachia and serve here, doing home repairs, medical and dental and eye clinics, doing Bible schools and things like that. And we do a global missions effort working in other countries, and the headquarters for that is here also. So all of this is taking place in Rogersville, and then you go across the mountain, and those folks call it over home. So if you go over home, you're going to find a smaller location, just like this, that does basically the same work for their community in Hancock County. The average household income we find for Hancock County is about $600 a month for the families we serve. For Hawkins County, we've just done an audit, and I've not got the figures back, but the last we did was $854 a month was the average household income of the families that we serve out of this facility. Over there also is another facility called the Mission, and the Mission does a great work also. They have a pregnancy support center. They do mentoring in the school systems. They do life skill trainings in the jail systems. And they've got one of the top rated drug recovery programs in the state of Tennessee. All of that is operating under the umbrella of One Accord. And somebody said you didn't mention the thrift stores. Well, the thrift stores we don't consider a ministry, except for the fact that our thrift stores do provide items that are donated at a cost that is affordable for anybody in the community. But the thrift stores are here to pay for the utilities, the repair, the overhead, the salaries, the trucks, the insurance, the gas, and all of those kind of things that it takes to do the programs. So if somebody donates $100 to do a food program, then $96 out of that goes in food that goes in somebody's home. And that's pretty good. On a tiny, tiny little bit of administrative cost, the rest is done through the efforts of the thrift stores, so that your effort reaches its maximum by going out and helping others. We have to constantly remind everybody, as we said, this is God's ministry, operated by you, our community. It's your ministry, and without your support and volunteer involvement, there's nothing here. So everything that you see, should say that you live in one of the greatest communities on the face of the earth, because all that is done is simply because of you. And it's because of the greatness of Hawkins County and the people that live here that you're here this morning. And I just want, from the bottom of my heart, to say thank you, thank you, thank you, as Gomer would say, to the people of Hawkins County, because there's no way that we can put into words how much we appreciate each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheldon. Amazingly, every year I like to listen to what all this group of people do. It's mind-boggling how few they can get by, how much they do with the money they have. And I want to say thank you all. Give them all a good hand for everything.
I want to thank Sheldon for all that he does for this community. If he did not do what he does, we would all be paying for what he does with our tax dollars. And all of this is done so graciously and helping so many people, and there's so many needs in our community, and we certainly appreciate all that you all do and all that this staff does. They're amazing. I've worked with them for a lot of years, and it's an amazing group of people, and I always get that little report that he gives out, and I just look at it and just think, you know, what a great community we live in, and how good it is to be a part of Rogersville and Hawkins County.